Preview the previous minutes from the meeting on 6/6.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Kurt, I think you're up on the two items I have for the board works.
I think we own it tonight. I don't see any of our stand club
That work or
here
not?
tonight that were invited. Alright.
Thank you.
So the first three are just an update on Ellis Properties at 316 South 11th Street, 321 South 12th, and 221 South 12th and 225 South 12th. The first one, these pictures are as of today. Pictures below, you can see some of the issues that are still remaining. The damage to the roof is pretty much obvious as you look at the pictures. It has not been taken care of, and an inspection has not been allowed to take place, so we haven't been able to actually get into the building to see if there's any structural issues. Weeds are still in excess of the city ordinance. They have sprayed some. Progress has been made in that area. It's not completely done. And once again, this is on 316 South 11th. They were able to get the one overhead garage door down. So the building is somewhat sealed. The next property is 221 South 12th Street. The holes on this building have been covered up with OSB subsiding, but there is no siding or no house wrap on those panels. It's basically a temporary fix. It's a Band-Aid. It does seal up the building to keep rodents from getting in, but if they don't put some type of house wrap in this siding material over it, eventually that OSB will decay and rot. They have sprayed some of the vegetation, but there's still quite a bit left that needs to be knocked down. And once again, like I said, we haven't been in that building either. We don't know what the inside looks like.
What's the address on that one, Kurt?
221 South 12th Street.
Okay.
The third property is 225 South 12th Street. They've made quite a bit of progress on this property. However, it's still not complete. Weeds have been sprayed, but others still exist in a height in excess of ordinance specifications. Rubbish still exists on the property as well. Some of the siding is starting to show some weather. It's got that old fiberboard siding on it. And once again, we haven't been able to get inside to inspect this one as well. This is the one they had stated they wished to rent that house out. That was actually a house office that prior residents lived in and worked out of. Mr. Ellis stated he's been doing some stuff on the inside of the house. According to him, it's just floor covering and patching drywall. I explained to him at one meeting back in May that they would have to have inspections done on the inside of the house and obtain a certificate of occupancy before anybody could inhabit it. Once again, we haven't been in there either to see exactly what he's done or what needs done. So. Next property is 127 Fremont Lane, Mr. Adam Ross. Anybody here? Back in January, code enforcement was called to location to investigate a nuisance. Was found weeds and neglected vegetation, junk, scrap metal, motor vehicles, automobile parts, and an actual vehicle. Mr. Ross was sent an abatement order on 127, code enforcement revisits the location. Minivan, driveway, still no license plate, and they added a laundry, it's like a washing machine appliance in the front yard, backyard, very little improvement.
So I'm looking at the dates of the pictures. So you had some on January 6th. What's the pictures from
These
today?
pictures are current as of today.
These are?
Those are.
Okay.
I'm going back. This is
Okay.
the first time that we've summoned Mr. Ross to the board works.
Okay.
So we're giving you the timeline from when we started dealing with it.
Okay.
On 4/21, we revisited again, check on the progress for the abatement. There's still issues remaining. Backyard's still not mowed, front yard's still not maintained. Around the house, the flower beds and the front yard is now tall enough, it needs mowed again. The band was removed. 5/1 did another follow-up, checked the progress, inspection showed weeds and vegetation neglection again. Some weeds at this point, 12 inches. Vehicles and tires and the appliance have not been taken care of, it's still there. Five eight, entire property is overgrown. Meanwhile, we're sending abatement orders each time. We're hearing nothing back from them. That includes all the yards, flower beds, all around the whole house. All the weeds are growing up. Also starting to grow up in front of the overhead door. There's boxes in the rear of the house. There's a broken down mower in the back of the house. We did at one point thought he had made an attempt to mow the yard. The side yard was mowed and we went out there and we found out later, no, the neighbor mowed it. It was tired of the way it looks. 522 did another inspection. Looked like the owner was trying to take care of some things. He's actually got a riding lawnmower out on the front, so we took this as he was trying to make some progress, so we back off a little bit. Then on 6/1, it was no progress whatsoever. The whole yard was totally overgrown, minus what the neighbor was taking care of. And then on 6/1, we sent a notice for him to appear here tonight for work. The last page shows what it looks like today.
Kurt, is it fair to say that the primary issue is the weeds and vegetation? Or is it, do you think there's still accumulation of rubbish?
There's still some accumulation of rubbish that can be dealt with. What's left over, if you get rid of the weeds and pull the rest of the stuff up against the back of the house, maybe organize a little bit, it may not look nearly as bad, but it's scattered throughout the whole backyard. He's got a mower in the middle, push mower in the middle of the backyard, it's just sitting there with weeds growing around it.
Okay.
What's your suggestion, Kurt? What do you recommend?
Well, he was here tonight to defend himself, and he never showed up. So at this point, normally with weeds and vegetation, You guys have given us the power to go in and just abate it. This has some debris in the backyard. At this point, either abate the nuisance and have someone go in and mow it and then invoicing, or we can have legal send a letter to try and get his attention that way. I can do either or.
Problem, if we send somebody down there for the first time, we're probably going to have to send an officer with them.
I'll need an officer down there while I spend that.
So what's the thoughts? It's either that or we have Ian send a letter with a fine schedule. What's your guys' thoughts?
I'd prefer just to send a letter with the fine schedule and at the end of it, then mow it. If it's not taken care of in 14 days. I don't know, unless you think it should just be fine.
I mean, I wouldn't give any more than 7 days from the day they get it. I mean, you need to mow the yard.
I'm fine with that. But should we 7 days fine them, or 7 days we come in and mow it, I guess?
I would say give them 7 days to mow it, or, I mean, that's when the fine will start.
Generally, the letter states that they have so many days to abate, not only abate the nuisance, but contact code enforcement and pass inspections. So if
There you
those
go.
things aren't done within the time frame set forth in the letter, then that would
Trigger the
kind of
fines.
that would trigger the fines, but it would also open the door for Kurt to go in and abate the nuisance, or the city to go in and abate the nuisance.
I agree.
They have the authority to go in now, but, I mean, giving him one last opportunity isn't going to hurt anything.
So give 7 days from the date of receival of the letter, and then a fine, and we'll go abate it.
Generally, the fines have run $100 a day per nuisance, per violation. So if there's both accumulation of rubbish and weeds and vegetation, then it would potentially be upwards of $200 a day until both are abated.
So, how that to go before we send somebody in to take care of it? What do you want that structured like?
Well, I'd like to be there on day 8 to take care of it, because the neighbors are going to be tired. So
What-
day 7, if he doesn't have a mode on day 8, I want to get somebody in there. I've been dealing with...
There's not much point in fining him then.
No.
I guess that's what I'm getting at. Is
No, I wouldn't,
Yeah.
at that point, I wouldn't fine him, or just, he'll get an invoice for a third-party contractor. She's not going to like that.
the third party's just going to mow, not clean up the rubbish, right?
Well, he'll probably move the stuff out of the way so he can mow. They'll have to do that, otherwise he's going to be mowing around rubbish, and you're going to have weeds this tall, this big of an area. It's going to look real good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that.
And we won't haul anything away.
Right.
Potentially the rubbish may accumulate fines, but the
Correct.
All right. Do I have a motion for Ann to
I'll make a
replace?
motion for Ann to move forward with the letter.
I'll say it.
Motion is second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Do you want to go back and discuss what we're going to do with this
Oh,
first
same
property?
sign. Yeah. We have one more property. We'll go back to the first owner.
The next property is located at 233 North 4th Street, owned by one Adam McGee. I don't know if he's there.
Nope.
All right, so we had a run-in back in 2020 with weeds and vegetation on May 21st, and he abated the nuisance. On May 14th, 2021, we received another complaint on weeds and vegetation. That nuisance was abated. October 11th, 2022, received a complaint about weeds and vegetation, garbage, and debris, condition of the exterior of the home. Some of the finishing boards are rotting away, some of the wood siding is coming loose, missing soffit material. on some of the eave overhangs, exposing rafters, and potentially allowing animals inside the home. Entire home needs new siding and soffit, or current siding and soffit needs to be repaired and painted. There's a tire in the backyard. There were full trash bags sitting next to city-provided trash can with an old microwave. Statement order was sent October 31st, 2022. Code enforcement did a drive-by. The garbage bags and the microwave were gone. No other changes to the property, and then there was an added vehicle with no license plate. Gator PD did place a 72-hour sticker on the vehicle. On December 2nd, 2022, Code Enforcement did another drive-by. The vehicle was gone. Nothing else on the property had changed. December 7th, Mr. Aguirre called in and stated he had received copies of an eviction notice that had been served to his tenants, and as soon as they were out, he was going to start cleaning the property. He also stated at the time he was looking for siding to match what is currently installed.
What was the date of that? Sorry.
December 7th. December 28th, Mr. Aguirre called and stated he had started cleaning the property and he was working on getting estimates from contractors. January 3rd, Code Enforcement visited the property again. No changes to the exterior of the home, and it appears that the siding was deteriorating more. There are holes in certain areas that were not noticed in past inspections. The siding was starting to dilapidate pretty good. April 12th, 23, Adam called and said he was still trying to locate materials and quotes. On April 18th, Adam called in and stated he would start fixing the exterior by May 20th. May 23rd, he visited the property, and there was no changes whatsoever. On May 26th, we sent Mr. Aguirre a notice hearing. On June 5th, Mr. Aguirre called and stated that he started working on the house and started the porch. He had replaced a section of the header trim and soffit on the porch and replaced a section of the fascia on the second floor eave overhang. We also noticed a little triangular piece on the back of the house that he had installed new siding. As of this morning, did a follow-up, and there's been no other changes since.
What's the address? 934 Winchester Street.
That's his home address.
No, this
Oh, this is rental property. I'm sorry, this is on 4th Street. 233 North 4th. 233
North 4th.
Recommendation?
I will send a letter to him. And we've talked to him up front. We've told him before, as long as you're showing progress,
Right.
we're going to back off. But we keep running into periods where we show up and there's nothing being done, nothing being done.
Right.
He's been dragging his feet for a while now.
And just a reminder to the media that these are usually driven by other complaints.
Yeah, we don't go looking for them. We don't look for them until if we get a complaint, when we go to that site, we do what's called a 360 inspection. When we're finished with that site, we do a 360-degree turn to make sure, everybody else is
Right.
compliant.
Right.
So at that point, sometimes we go out with one ticket and come back with 10.
Right. So a letter from Ann saying, what do you think, Tyler?
I mean, this one's just it's not grass, it's just the property per se, the structure.
At this point, it's the exterior appearance. He's got holes in the soffit, he's got siding falling off the house, he's got wood siding that's deteriorating because it's missing paint. Just need to get it covered up.
You don't want to know what I'm saying.
Right, but you're the professional here.
I know, I was thinking it'd cost more to do that than was worth, but
Yeah.
I mean, do we set up a weekly visit? I mean, I don't know how you want to structure this letter, but it says we need to see progress every week. I mean,
Yeah, that's not getting
I
done.
mean, this has been going on for, what, a couple
3
years?
years.
A couple years?
Since 20?
Well, in 2020, it was just weeds and vegetation. The house was a little rough back then. 21, back in 21, weeds and vegetation again. Wasn't until October of 22 we really started noticing.
So this is all happened in the last year.
Somebody living in it?
Yeah, it's rental property. Good people.
oh my.
At what point do you involve the Board of Health? Send them in.
Make that call.
I mean, probably needs a letter with a fine. I don't know what kind of time frame you give to clean it up, or...
I mean, that's not 7 days to get your yard mowed. You're talking some extensive,
But this also has been going on since 2020. It's 2023 now, so that's 3 years.
I
Yeah.
would recommend sending a letter telling him he can contact the building department with a timeline and a schedule within X amount of days.
I'll go with Kurt's recommendation and maybe a fine of $100 a day if that's not done, just to
I'll second.
put some teeth on it.
how much time to get a schedule and a timeline in place and contact you.
I'd say 10 days.
Okay.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Now we have to go back to that first owner. On the
Ellis?
7th and 12th Street properties.
What'd you say?
11th and 12th Street properties?
Okay, is that Ellis?
Yeah.
All right.
And they were asked to come tonight too, is that right? Oh, they weren't, okay.
We're just giving a progress report.
Okay, so,
The house is stable. We don't see any structural issues with the house. It just needs updated. Some of the siding, like I said, it's got fiberboard and it's just weathered and worn. Eventually, it's going to need some attention. As Mr. Ellis stated in the May meeting, that he was working on the inside of the house. We need to know exactly what he's doing, because we did see a dump trailer that had drywall studs, shower pan. I mean, leads us to believe there's a little more than just a little bit of drywall work.
right. Weren't we talking about an inspection warrant? Have we done that yet or no?
We haven't done it yet.
Okay.
But we-
The building at 316 South 11th, the building itself is actually a steel block building attached to a type of pole barn structure on the west end. The roof over the pole barn structure is metal. It appears to be in pretty good shape. The block walls, the CMU block walls, are in fairly good shape for as old as the building is. The roof system, though, I have my doubts. There's a lot of waving on. There's been a lot of patch jobs. We have contacted the previous owners, and they said when they owned it, the roof leaked. Mr. Ellis had stated when he was here that the roof doesn't leak, but previous owners...
That one doesn't leak, that just holds water, like a
So,
bathtub.
I mean, you can see the ripples.
It's been addressed.
It's into the roof sheathing, which tells me there could be possible rafter failure. The building is vacant. The only people that are in the building is Mr. Ellis, and unfortunately, if it collapses, it's going to collapse in on itself. It's not going to, the possibility of getting any bystanders
Right.
from the neighbors is slim to none.
Uh-huh.
Same time, if it does collapse, then the neighbors still have to look at this and they'll have to look at this after it collapses.
So what's your thoughts right now on that property?
I just need to get inside the buildings just to see what's going on. I'm under the impression that they just want to slap some Band-Aids on it for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that thing, I know that thing's got to have at least 2 layers of shingle on it. And code stipulates you can't do any more than 2 layers, so everything's going to have to be ripped off. Which indicator to rip off shingles and replace shingles, you don't need a permit. You don't need a permit until you start getting into the structure,
Right.
which would be the sheathing.
That one's going to need some structural
In
improvements.
my opinion, yes, that's going to need some structural work.
I
And
was
being a
talking to
commercial lot is considered
Mark,
a commercial
or the
building, if there's
special
too much
warrant or
structural
something
going on, they
we
may need
should-
to get a design release from the state.
I mean, he thinks that there's structural issues in play and he's not being granted permission, then the remedy is to seek an inspection warrant. So you have to file a petition with the court and state the basis for the request for it. And if there's probable cause to access to a structure, then a judge would issue that warrant, and it's good, I believe, I'm not sure if it's 48 or 72 hours, but you have
We can request, we can request
period of time.
48 or 72. The normal's 48,
Mhm.
something like this. I only need a 24 hours. But they're going to have to let us in. They will have to physically be at the property to let us in. If not, we'll go in at their expense.
So what are you saying? Increase the timeline then for you to get in to like 72 or 48 or what?
No, he's asking for a inspection warrant.
Inspection warrant.
Right.
So we have to
We're
get
not being this thick on them. We want to know what's going on in these buildings, especially if the house, I want to know what's going on in there, if they're going to rent it out to somebody else. So if he was going to live in it himself, well,
And this structure is this the
I mean, I think they,
South 11th Street?
221
this
South,
structure's 316 Southwest.
I mean, 221 South 12th Street, I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. They blocked in the holes. I mean, it doesn't look pretty, but it's covered up.
right.
And I don't know about this other roof. I mean, it's bad, but it's their property too. Was the complaint just weeds and vegetation, or?
Originally, there were 80 bags of trash on
Right. He was using it as a transfer station. I remember.
We were dealing with the previous owners on this property prior to Ellis's buying. And at that time, previous owners put it up for auction. Ellis has actually stopped into our office and talked to us about that property, and we explained the rules. You know, it was industrial. The only thing they'd be able to use it for is a landscape business, because that's what it was approved for. And they were going to have to clean up. So they knew going in what they were going to have to do, and then from there on, they did a fairly decent job of cleaning some stuff up, but it's like they did just enough to make it look a little different, and then stopped, and then we'd have to get after them again and keep going.
We want to go down the Warrant Road. What's the cost of that? The city just to get in there and...
I mean, at this point, if we don't get the warrant, then we're going to disregard the buildings altogether and just stick to the vegetation.
Other than the trash and rubbish and
Minus the
weeds and
house. The house has to have a certificate of occupancy. For the Indiana State Building Code, the building department does have the right to go in. We have to ask permission from the owner. We asked permission at the last meeting, we were denied, so now we have the right to seek
Right.
an inspection warrant. We're going to go for the warrant, and the building department's going to disregard the buildings, with the exception of the house.
Right.
There's not going to rent this building out to anyone. He's using it for his own personal use, and the garage off to the side he's using for his own personal use. So if they cave in, fall over.
Right. And then we could deal with it at that point, but as of right now, it's a block building with a bad roof.
Right. That's all it is.
So I guess I'm good with that suggestion. Just stay on the weed and vegetation. That's the two properties. That's 316.
Well, it'd be all three properties.
Yeah.
I think,
Well, you're going to have to do it
Monitoring
separate if you want
for
the
all-
warrant. You're going to need it on
yeah,
the house, correct?
Yeah, at some point, if he wants to rent that house out to another individual,
And how will we know that?
we can drive by and see some of the car shops and come where we want. Is the water off? Yeah, the water. Yeah, if somebody, yes, good point. If somebody turn the water on, we'll know at that point.
Okay. Okay.
Did you make a motion, Tyler?
Well, I don't know what that motion needs to be made here. I mean,
Right. I mean, it was just an update on the properties, basically.
Yeah, just enough.
You have to have a motion for the
We're not doing it.
Not going to do it? Okay.
Okay. I guess there's no motion. It was just an update. Okay. Any more discussion on any of those code enforcement problems? Okay, next we have, you wanted to discuss the facade at 138 North 2nd Street.
138 North 2nd Street, located down here at the alley across from Monk's Pizza. So last year we went in with a considerable amount of money into this building. We need to start thinking about doing something with the building, whether we sell somebody to take over and start finishing the outside of the building, or we need to start thinking about doing something with the outside of the building. But once again, it's structure weathered over. There's no weatherproofing of any sort. There's a couple holes and weather can get into. I'm afraid it's going to start deteriorating here before long, and all that money we put in is going to start going down the drain.
Right.
I don't want to have to dump any more money into it structurally.
Right. So I think, we had appraisals done, right? And the as-is condition it was in. So I think, what's the other, we have to take offers on it, is that right? Or, I know if we have, depending on if it's government entities, if it's nonprofits, different things like that, there's different rules on how you sell property. But I think, in most cases, we still have to take offers, right?
yes, cases. So generally the process would be that one, council designates the property as surplus property and would make a determination that it would be sold, and it would either be sold at auction or through the bidding process. If you have another governmental unit or entity interested in the property, you can do you have a lot more flexibility in how that real estate is transferred. And then if it is a nonprofit corporation, depending on the nature and function of that nonprofit, there are certain statutes within the disposal of real property code sections that allow for you to work outside the bidding process. But it depends on, if it is a nonprofit corporation, they're allowed to submit a bid, but qualify for allowing the city to discount other bids and still accept theirs if they fall within certain statutory requirements. So, but at this point, the city would be able to. It's city-owned property. If the city is ready to dispose of it, then it would be essentially a council decision. They would need to consider it a surplus property.
Okay.
Anyway.
So it's a council decision on what they want to do with surplus property.
Mm-hmm. Saying that with a lot of confidence, aren't I?
Right.
I think Board of Works certainly did appraisals, did Board of Works approve the appraisals on the property, or did council approve it? I think we did. Board of Works?
Board of Works made a motion for him to get the appraisals.
The appraisals? Okay. Because it involves, I understand that it's an executive decision in terms of how city property is being used or potential improvements, and that falls under Board of Works, but it also has a financial component. So to me, the best option would be to work in tandem between the Board of Works and council both. So, Board of Works approval to move forward with disposal of it, and then make that subject to council approval as well.
Okay.
I mean, has there been interest in it otherwise? I know we kind of waited for a little bit, but it's, like Kurt said, it is open to the outside, so
Right.
if there's not a full interest in it, then I think it'd be in the best interest to list the property. And
We could take bids on it.
Can we take bids on it, or can we just list it?
The city's properties are limited in how you can dispose of them. So you have to follow statutorily prescribed processes, and it's generally auction or sealed bids.
The seal bid's the easiest path. Okay. I make a motion, we put it up for sealed bids and get council's approval. Is that what you're thinking, Dan? Did you have any other discussion?
No.
I don't see use of it for us, and the downtown's growing, maybe someone will have some interest in it to turn it over.
I guess my main thing is to get a good tenant in there that's going to take care of the building, and it's going to be viable for
And I agree.
future.
I don't want somebody that just neglects it.
Right. We don't need Band-Aids on it because it's...
I think that in that bid process, it doesn't have to be totally economical. It can be the best bid, right?
Depending on the bidders. Right.
Okay.
So, yeah, generally the city is limited to the average of the two appraisal prices. There are some ways you can deviate from that, but it depends on, in some cases, who the bidder might be.
Okay.
But there has to be a written basis provided. If you do not take the highest bid, there has to be a justification for selecting a different bid
Okay.
and made a matter of record. So,
Do you think that's
Okay.
in the best interest for the city? The bid process?
I think you have the bid process or an auction to choose from, or to find a government entity who you want to negotiate with outside of the bidding process, and those are kind of your options.
Okay.
I'll second Craig's motion to present it to council for their approval.
Okay. A motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Do you have anything else? Board of Works? You got anything else for Board of Works? Figured, how do you have anything for Board of Works? Thanks, Kurt.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We'll start the council meeting in 10 minutes.